one match remaining, and it's all about the battle for the top four between Chelsea, Liverpool and Leicester City. A win for Chelsea and they're fine, the same for Liverpool as well. Unless Leicester run up the score against Spurs, but in theory, Leicester will be hoping that Chelsea or Liverpool drop points and they can snatch a place in the Champions League next season. I suppose that's a tradition, isn't it? Before the last week of the season, we take a look at the predictions. Craig was the only one who would predict Manchester City to be the winners. Everyone else going for Liverpool. In fact, everyone's got it pretty much right regarding the teams, with the exception of Ian, who had Arsenal in the top four and not Chelsea. Ian.
Yeah, I know. I thought at the time, it's a long way back. They'd won the FA Cup. I thought they were on an upward trend. They started the season well, and it's all gone to pot, basically. So, wrong prediction. But I was laughed at when I predicted Manchester United to finish second at the time, because they were way down in the table, and they are going to finish second.
Ian, I can't imagine anyone laughing at you.
No.
Oh, it happens all the time. Don't worry about that. Usually when I'm commentating.
Of course, as things stand, as I mentioned, Chelsea and indeed Liverpool have it both in their own hands. Craig, can you see them slipping up at all?
I thought Ian predicted at the start of the season Man United to win the league. I think somebody's finagled that back round to help them out there.
No, I didn't. I predicted Liverpool.
No, I'm not sure about that. But,
that was wrong as well, by the way.
As I said a couple of weeks ago, or whenever it was, I thought it was Liverpool, I'd be feeling quite good. And I know Stevie wasn't sure if they were going to put a run together, but the fixtures were encouraging. So if I'm Liverpool come Sunday morning, I'm feeling good that I'm going to get the job done. If I'm the other two, I'm more concerned, primarily because, you know, Leicester, as you say, might have to run up a rack of goals.
Yeah.
And it's no pushover for Chelsea going to Villa Park. You know, they drew, I think, earlier in the season at Stamford Bridge. Villa are a threat up front. So, yeah, I expect Liverpool to take care of business, and I think it could be down to the other two just to see who chokes.
Yeah, and do you agree, out of those three teams, you want to be Liverpool at the moment?
Yes, you do. And I think that when you have a look at the table, I thought Liverpool would win at that time. We didn't know about the injuries, and we didn't know that Guardiola will sort out this defense and not go for every attack going forward. But I still feel that Liverpool, although there is a script with Roy Hodgson coming back to Anfield, we have seen those stories before. Leicester will beat Tottenham at home, and then it's up to Chelsea. We'll see how concentrated Chelsea are on this task. I think Tuchel will have them going, but I'm not sure that this is over and done yet with the top four. If it ends up like it is now, we can say that everybody got what they deserved. 4 in the Champions League, and Leicester City get the FA Cup, and then everybody's happy.
How are you feeling? You all right?
I'm absolutely confident.
Oh,
absolutely.
The worm has turned.
Everything the boys have said, I completely agree with. I don't see Roy Hodgson going back to Liverpool having anything to do with this result. In fact, Crystal Palace are in a bit of turmoil, really. Most of the team have no idea what's going to be happening next season. And all the talk of, well, every game's a final for them because they want to show how... Listen, half of that side are past their best. Half of that side are looking to, if they're lucky, stay in the Premier League. So I just don't see any way right now how Liverpool can lose this game. The one I'm worried about is Chelsea. No question.
It was interesting that Jan said, I wonder what, Tuchel will do, whether he'll tinker, No, he can't. He tinkered in the FA Cup final and lost, deservedly so. I know he's got the Champions League final coming up a week or so later, but he has to forget about that. I mean, if he's got to play his strongest team, and if he picks up a couple of injuries, picks up a couple of injuries, that's the way it is. He cannot afford, after coming in and doing the job he's done, for it all to unravel by trying to be a little bit too clever, because Villa are not a poor side. So he's going to have to, Champions League final or not, play his strongest team. We saw N'Golo Kante going off in the middle of the week. We don't know how fit he is. That's a concern. He said he felt his hamstring a bit tight, but nothing too bad. So he's going to have to figure out how he balances players with little niggles and potentially missing out on the Champions League via the league position. Right, he might get it via the Champions League itself, but they're not favourites.
I agree with you, Craig, what you're saying.
That win, didn't they, in the week? Villa had that win at Tottenham, didn't they, in the week? I thought they were on the beach before that, but I think they're suddenly ignited again, and I wonder if they could make it difficult for Chelsea on the last day, because even a draw for Chelsea there, and it starts to look a bit dodgy for them, doesn't it? So that's something definitely to take into account. But I do think Chelsea will get it done just in a tight game. But I think there might be some twists and turns on the day. I wonder whether Tottenham, Harry Kane's final game, whether they might just do something at Leicester, who have slipped up at home a few times. They lost at home to Fulham. They lost at home to Newcastle.
Go on, Jan.
But I now just thinking of what Craig is saying. Yes, I think Tuchel will do everything. He will do his best team, and he will say if somebody miss out on the Champions League, so be it. I'm just wondering the mental state when the goings get tough now, because I think this will be tight. I think Aston Villa can do something at home against the Chelsea Football Club, and then it's 1 week to go till the Champions League. And Craig, what I try to say is that if you lose a bit concentration, they could slip up on the most important game. You can even say this is more important than the Champions League final, if you say it in a long perspective.
And meanwhile, you take a look at Leicester, Ian. I think some people have been quite harsh on them over the last few weeks, saying, oh, look, they've bottled it again. It's just a case that these other teams have got bigger squads and the injuries really took their toll, no?
Yeah, well, there's an element of that. They messed it up last year. They were in the top four nearly all season, and they didn't finish in the top four. Looks like being the same again for them, barring some mathematical somersaults on the last day. But if you'd said to Leicester City fans this time last week, you can win the FA Cup, but you won't be in the top four, they'd have taken that. They'd never won the FA Cup in their history. Fantastic, emotional day. You can never take that away from them. They'd have preferred the top four as well, but it looks like they will slip out again.
From their perspective, Craig, how easy it is to go out on the last day of this season and just get the job done without being distracted by what's going on elsewhere?
Who are you talking about?
Leicester.
Oh, Leicester. I think it's pretty easy for Leicester because, they've just got to do what they're going to have to do and take care of the business. And I can't imagine there's, if they're losing or drawing the game or whatever, they're asking what's happening at other games. They've got it. Maybe, I'm sure Brendan Rodgers and his staff will know what's happening, but you've just got to get the job done. Look, they've lost Evans recently, that's a blow. They lost Maddison to injury, he came back, he wasn't playing well. One of the biggest blows, they lost young James Justin, who has played all across the back four, a superb young player they got from Luton. I talk about him a lot. I think he would have been pushing for Southgate's squad. They lost him with an ACL, so they've actually coped not too bad considering the squad they've got. And I would actually hate to see them slip up, but I agree that, for them, winning the FA Cup was way more important. I'm getting sick and tired of this top four sort of scenario where teams sort of, scramble in at the last minute. I'm not talking about Leicester, but I'm talking about in general, where teams scramble in, they go into this freaking knockout process that most of them get biffed out of anyway, and then at the end, when we tally it all up, we pretty much have the same teams most time, apart from the odd occasions. So I think sometimes, there's a monetary aspect to it. There's apparently a gravitas aspect to it in terms of signing players. Not sure how much there is. But just going to Wembley in front of fans last week and winning and the manner in which they did, trust me, for their players in that club, that's way more important than what's going to happen, I think, at the weekend. And I think they can take some solace from that.
Quick picks then, Craig. Who's qualifying top four?
Right, off the back of that, I'm going to say Liverpool and Chelsea.
Jan?
Liverpool, but Chelsea very tight, but they will still make it.
Ian?
Yeah, I think that they'll both win. I think it might be tight for Chelsea. I think Liverpool probably win quite easily against Crystal Palace, the form they're in.
Yep.
But yeah, Chelsea.
Stephen, you don't want to... No.
I'm afraid I can't disagree with
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.